Yeah, we are good.
All right. It is now 2:30. I just wanted to welcome you. Find a seat. Hello, everyone. My name is Deborah Feld. I'm the Executive Director of the Fullerton Collaborative. Leanna is not able to join us today. She is busy back at her Matador doing very fun stuff. So we missed her, and I am starting us out. So first of all, before we get started, I just want to just do a quick shout out to all of the board members. So these are the board members that are part of our collaborative that really makes everything happen behind the scenes. So if you are a board member, if you could just quickly just wave your hand and shake. Okay, so if you have questions, those are the people to talk to, because they can help you out as well. So welcome everyone. So today we actually have a wonderful opportunity to hear about what is going on in our city and also how we can help support our youth and adults around mental health. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and you probably have heard that. But we're going to do a little bit of a twist with that. And in the city of Fullerton, we've actually had a discussion with our board about seeing how social media is impacting mental health and also how we can help support the youth and our adults around mental health. So we've invited our guest lecturer from Human Options, Emily Smith. She's going to present kind of an overview of social media and how we can work with them. Double dipping here. I'm doing
Doing great. Doing great. Okay, so hello, I'm Emily. I'm from Laura's house, sorry. I just wanted to
Thank you,
let you know real quick. But so I'm from Laura's house, so we do domestic violence services. So we have like counseling, therapy, support groups. We do legal advocacy and legal services. So if somebody needs like a divorce, or a restraining order, or basically anything along that, we help people with that. I do education and outreach, so I go to schools, I talk to a lot of middle school, high schoolers especially, but also college students, Girl Scouts, parents, we do elementary parents. We're trying to work into elementary curriculum now as well. So we kind of do kind of a wide range of services, but I come and do these presentations. Basically, they change depending on the audience, but today we're going to be talking about online safety and kind of specifically social media safety. So these are the questions we ask our teens, our high schoolers, our middle schoolers. So if somebody wants to take a guess, how many teens in the United States have access to a smartphone or social media? And I have it down in percent, so if anybody wants to take a guess.
90%.
Okay, you guys are close, right around. So it's 95% of teens have access to a smartphone or social media. How many hours a day do we think that people spend on their phones on average? So social media, texting, email. Yeah, so I have here 6 hours a day. And so when we think about like how many hours we're at school or how many hours we're at work, in comparison, that 8 to 6 hours, it really looks a lot different when you look at it like that. And then we asked them as well, do we prefer talking to people on social media as opposed to talking to people in real life, and why? And I know for myself, a lot of times I say yes. A lot of times like Zoom seems easier, but I've had my technological issues with Zoom, so I do actually prefer in person for these presentations and everything. But these days it just seems easier and like a better way. We can hide behind our screens as well, is what we tell them. So even though some people might prefer it, there are reasons why in person is really valuable. And then we also asked them how many of us keep our social medias on private. So there's different reasons why people do or do not have their social media on private. A lot of kids these days just don't do it just because they like to have anybody be able to see their accounts, whether it's friends, people at their schools, anything like that. But there's a lot of safety concerns as well as like, I don't know if you guys know too much about like Snapchat, Instagram, all those, even the new ones, Be Real, that sort of thing. They track your location a lot of times, or people post their location. So there are safety concerns with having one's social media on private or not. But we try and teach them about that, and so I'll just talk to you all about that as well today. So here we have why do we use social media. I'm not sure, like for you all, if anybody wants to answer why you guys use social media. You can shout it out.
Oh, I'm just trying to read.
Oh.
You have to answer.
For networking purposes,
Yeah.
I use it for networking purposes.
Mhm. Yeah, so that's kind of a really big one. It's like networking between peers, friends, colleagues, basically anyone. A lot of times we connect with people from like our schools now as well, like universities, people we used to go to school with. I know like a lot of people now as they're going into school and like college, they're looking for roommates on social media. So there's a lot of different reasons and it has its different reasons why it's valuable, as well as like just being able to keep up with like family, friends, people who don't live near you, that sort of thing. So there are a lot of reasons why we should use it, but it's also important to be aware of how it's dangerous and other concerns that go along with it. So here we have the pros and cons of social media. So pros, staying connected with friends and family, social awareness, promoting a talent, creativity. We also see a lot, like especially during COVID, small businesses came up during or on social media a lot. And then the cons here, so negative perceptions of our body image, bullying because people think they can hide behind the screen, lack of sleep because they just stay on it a lot, and then it's a predator's playground. So we had a summit recently about sextortion and basically extorting people through social media and online services like this, and basically using it in a negative sense like that. So like we say here, predator's playground. So here we have this social media real life, which, I mean, it can be, but as well as there's a lot of ways it's not. So on the bottom, I guess right photo, you guys' left photo, we see the photo on the left. Usually when we look at this on the computer screen, it looks a little bit different, but this is a picture of Zendaya. You can see the colors a little brighter. They also slimmed her down a little bit. They just made her look a little bit different, and the one on the right is the one that she posted just to show the differences between how they had edited her and how the picture was actually taken originally. So it was kind of a nice way for her to post and show that comparison to let those younger viewers especially know that it's not always real life. And then the one on the right here is kind of an example of those filters and the ways that we can adjust our face as well, and just different parts of pictures. So we used to see this on like Photoshop with like landscape pictures, that sort of thing, but now they can adjust basically anything on their own face with these apps and this technology. So we see that sometimes as just filters, which are super simple to use. It doesn't take more than a few seconds to add a filter to a picture anymore. And then now with the rise of like AI and stuff, people can add people's faces to anything. You can add basically anything you want to any photo, any video. Now they're using sound. So we hear also people are calling using AI captured sounds to make it sound like a family member or someone else, and they're saying, I really need this money, like can you send it? And it sounds like a family member, so people are falling for it, but in reality it's just being created by just a few seconds. So I believe only a few seconds, maybe like 3 to 10 seconds, they can already kind of get that tone of your voice and everything, and they can make it sound like you and just completely transform what somebody might say. And there also was a case recently about some students who edited their teacher's face onto an explicit video, and it got sent around, and it actually really affects people's careers, their school, just all around their entire life. And this is things that's it's not really a joke, but we don't talk about it enough, so that's why we're here. So it's not always real life, even if we see it, and especially with this technology to change things these days, the technology is not always what we think it is. And it's important to be aware of what we're looking at and really question it too. So here we have, how does what we're consuming influence the way we see the world? We can play the first video thing, but I think it's the second one. So
The boy.
this first one, yeah, and then this one after.
My girl's always like, oh my God, I'm leaving you. I can't do this relationship anymore. And who told you leaving was an option? You stuck with me. I don't know if you got the memo, but this is for everything. You're not leaving.
So that TikTok was spread to a lot of different people on the TikTok app, and it's basically him saying like, that somebody wants to leave and he's saying, who told you you were able to leave, like this was even an option for you. And the video is a joke, and some people do understand that, but there's a lot of people in these comments that are liking it, and also commenting, like, a lot of the most recent comments have been like, he's like me, or like, that's what I would do, that sort of thing. So kids are really playing into this, and they're accepting it and normalizing it as well, and it's just something that they're taking on. And we see a lot of times with these harassment videos, people saying like, oh, I didn't know that was an option, that's a good idea. There's one we show where this boyfriend gives his girlfriend a necklace, and the necklace has a camera in it, and she doesn't know. So she goes and wears it, and she goes out to a party, and he says, oh, I hope you like the necklace, and she says, yeah, thanks, it's so pretty. She goes to the party, and you can see everything on it. So it was supposed to be a joke, but a lot of people in the comments were saying that, like, I didn't know that was possible. Can I do that? Where can I get this? That sort of thing. So even if they're kidding as well, there's a lot of people watching this and really believing it and doing these things, and even getting ideas. And then we can watch the second one.
You're so busy when it comes to me now. You're so busy.
I'm not busy, but you know what I
You don't
went
call
through.
me. You went from calling me every day, we talk every day, to disappearance.
So this one was one where that TikTok sound came up. I'm not sure if it came from a show or something. And she's just texting the different lines from the show, and the other person's responding. So we first saw this with music. So we saw like maybe a Taylor Swift song about a breakup, and somebody starts sending all the lyrics to the song just to see how the other person will respond. But a lot of times those words are negative, and the other person doesn't know what's going on. So even though it's a prank, it does and can hurt the other person. And then it's getting posted for everyone to see as well. And then the last photo we have here is a photo of Addison Rae, who was, I believe, a TikTok influencer is how she started out. But she's holding an energy drink here, and a majority of her audience is younger age, so probably high school and younger. And she's advertising these energy drinks, which these kids probably don't need. So it's just something to think about, like who she's advertising this to, who her audience really is, and who's going to be buying these energy drinks. So it's just influencing how we see the world. And a lot of people, I mean, they call them influencers now more than celebrities even, it seems like. So they really are influencing like kids and adults as well. So it's not just like the middle schoolers and high schools, it can be anyone. And then we can start this video as well real quick.
This next girl, her name is Jenna. She's 14 years old. We've been talking online over text message and even had a phone conversation.
So right now we have the parents of Jenna. Jenna thinks her parents are going out tonight for date night. She thinks my brother is going to be driving, so she's going to get in the car, but she doesn't actually know that it's all just me. So I'm going to text her right now. Did your parents leave yet? Yeah, like 15 minutes ago. Do you think she's going to go through with this?
No way. Absolutely not. I don't even believe it's her. I'm not gonna have friends playing around with them.
What's your address? All right, is this your house?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. All right. We are here to come out. You don't think she's coming out?
She better not be coming out.
Your door open. Yep. I see someone.
True business.
Yeah. Hop in. He's in the back. Over there.
Jenna, stop it, your mother father. Jenna, look, turn around. Turn around. Turn around. How could you dare go to a stranger's car?
What are you thinking? Just explain.
Give me your phone right now. Give me your phone now.
What would have happened if you came out and it wasn't us sitting back here and there were really crazy people back here?
We never would have saw you again.
We watched movies together. We looked at newspaper articles and the news about all these things are real life situations that have happened. And we discussed them. What, you think it's fine to go try that on your own?
But what happened if this man would have drove away? There would have been 3 strangers sitting in this car. Huh? What would you have done? What would we have done? We didn't have our daughter.
You understand? You probably thought you were talking to a 15-year-old. You didn't even know what was happening, did you? You just got in like that. You were going with everything I was saying. You understand now. Just never ever do that again. It should teach you a lesson forever. Your whole life.
So a lot of people, I'm not sure if that video is like staged or not, but I don't think it is. It's not supposed to be. But a lot of times we think like our kids know better, people know better, they're not going to do that. But we see a lot of times in these, whether they're pranks or like it really is a real situation. This happens a lot. And there are people who are getting in trouble like this. So it's important to be also monitoring other people around you, whether it's your kids, your like kids at school, kids just in general, and then also your friends, people around you, your family members, especially with scam callers these days. It can happen to anyone. And yeah, like the video, like her mom said, how could you do this? Like they all talked about how they talked to her before, like they knew better and they tried to teach her better, and it still happened. So it's just important to watch out for. So this is an example of catfishing. So it's somebody basically trying to be another person or acting like another person. And they use photos, social media, videos. Even they said they had a phone call. So just something to be aware of. Oh, sorry, I'm not able to play. So here we have DMing. So a lot of times we see this like on Twitter, Instagram, I guess like basically any direct messages between people. So it can happen on most apps these days. So we say never respond to DMs unless you personally know the person messaging you. And this includes friends of friends. So you never know when somebody's really like impersonating another person. So these photos here are people who have been impersonating like teens or young adults. So the man there impersonated being that kid over there, and so he's posting pictures of this kid, or maybe it's just a profile picture and just acting like that kid to lure other people into their traps and whatever it is they're doing. So we say for these direct messages, never respond unless you actually know who it is, as well as following people on Instagram and Snapchat. Don't add them unless you actually know them, but sometimes people do just add each other, so this is kind of a hopefully a safe way to go about it as well. And then how can we stay safe online? So those location sharing services, geotagging. So we say a lot of times not to post where you are until you've left. And so on Instagram, a lot of times it gives you the option to post where you are, as well as if you're going to take a picture of something, we say like the urban spectrum sign. It's a notable place. If you posted it, somebody would know where that is. And they can come find you. So we say don't post the location until you're gone from there. And then digital footprint, that anything on the internet is basically forever, and it's something to be aware of because there are stories. There was a story about a reporter recently who lost her job with Teen Vogue because she had posted tweets in the past that came back up and arose even, I think, a decade later. And she actually ended up losing like her dream job because of this, and now she's had a hard time finding jobs because of that. And that was something she posted when she was 17, so not even like a legal adult technically, and it came back and affected her career. And then having a public account, so being able, other people can access your private information, anyone can find you, they can see, oh, this person's posting a lot in Southern California, maybe we can narrow it down to Orange County, maybe we can narrow it down to a certain city. So it's just something to be aware of, even like if somebody can tell where that picture is taken, or different things like that, also who you're with, and if they're posting like where they are. We say also not to post like school names, street signs, that sort of thing. And then here we have just a quick note. So 88% of self-made images are reposted without permission. So on that digital footprint, it can stay on the internet forever. So a lot of times we just see this with normal posts of text that's like a funny joke or something. And people screenshot it, repost it, but it can be done also with just any picture and any video as well, and voice and everything like that. And then again, the internet is forever. So we say here you are free to choose, but you're not freedom from the consequences of your choice. So you can choose what you post and what you put out there, but there can be consequences to this. So whether it be humiliation, cyberbullying, blackmail, school discipline, police involvement. I believe in California, a lot of these digital crimes are actually covered with some of the laws these days and that sort of thing, even if it's off school grounds. But if not, like schools can take disciplinary actions as well. So something to keep in mind. And then we also say as well that it's not always their fault. So who can we go to if we find ourselves in a situation like this? So students a lot of times would rather just not get help. And they try and just keep going and like move forward. But sometimes they're in over their head more than they realize. And this can happen to anyone as well. So even like if we get a scam call, we respond to it. So they can go to parents, trusted adults, school counselors, teacher, police as well. And then resources we can reach out to, we always put Laura's house, especially for that sextortion and extortion of images and stuff. We say go to the police, but we can help with that at Laura's house as well. And then we encourage people to also get help if they find themselves in the situation, because like that girl texting that guy, she thought she was just texting somebody, and then come to find out it was a whole like scheme. So you never know like what all is going on behind the scenes. And then you have the power to say no. So we always say like no one owes anybody anything. Whether a person gives them a compliment, they don't owe them their phone number. If a person says hi, like, and starts up a conversation with them, they don't owe them like their name, their phone number, where they go to school, none of that information. So they can just say, no, I'm good, and move on. And sometimes we feel like we do owe somebody that just because they were being nice or that sort of thing. But. And then digital advice. So stay safe online in order to better protect yourselves and the people you care about. So here's the cyber tip line. There's a phone number there. So this is the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. So a lot of people do get referred to here if they do find themselves in an like this extortion situation, for example. But yeah, it's just be aware of these resources as well for those around you in case they do find themselves in this situation. And I'll keep this up for a second. Photos. And then here we have the resources for Laura's House. So our Laura's House website is just laurashouse.org. We have the teen site here, but on that laurashouse.org you can find everything from volunteer opportunities to resources. We have the 24-hour hotline as well if anybody needs help with like a domestic violence situation. So whether that's counseling, those legal services, housing, anything like that. And then the Laura's House Heart is where they can get connected, or anyone can, on Instagram and find we post different things from information to self-care, different resources, that sort of thing. And then I can leave this up for a moment. If anybody has any questions, I can try to answer them as well.
Can you speak at some other organizations too? Is it something that Laura's House does, or?
Yeah, so I can go to basically, or me or my other colleagues can go to any organization, any group. Basically, we say if somebody can get a group together and has a place, we can show up and come speak to them. So yeah, and it's most days of the week, most hours. So yeah.
Hi.
Hello.
Did you bring brochures with you?
Yeah, so I put on the back table. I hope that's okay. I just added them on the back. Yeah.
Okay.
So there we have the flyers with our services, and then phone number, website, all that, and then we have little cards that have the hotline numbers. Oh yeah.
Okay, so they're all back there?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And then we have English and Spanish too. And then we have other translation services if anybody needs, but those are mostly like if you call somebody through Laura's House and they can do the translation.
Thank you.
Yeah. But yeah, that the little alert, or the smaller card, has the hotline number for child abuse, human trafficking, I believe is on there, the domestic violence hotline. So more of those resources, and then the flyer has information that's less about the hotline numbers and more about our services at Laura's House. Any other questions or anything? If not, I'm all good.
So Laura's House is amazing. They do some fantastic work. So is there an issue in our city around social media? Yeah. No?
Yeah.
Yes?
There is.
Yeah. And how can we help support that and help support the reduction and awareness of that? One of them is a resource of Laura's House.
Is that being shown in schools?
Yeah, we show it usually at middle schools and high schools and colleges, and we're working on elementary curriculum, but that's more for relationships. So yeah, so we usually do healthy relationships, communication, and then some domestic violence.
Great.
Yeah.
So getting the word out, I think, is the key thing, and awareness. Because it is happening. We just had a PTA meeting last month and had a discussion around social media at my local junior high where my daughter goes. It's definitely an issue and awareness of how we can bring and support those needs of those kids right now. So thank you, Emily, again. So we are going to transition about what we can do in Fullerton, and we actually have a new member that I want to bring up, the founder of High Hopes Counseling. Nicole. She's going to just present their a little bit of their resources and a little bit about their organization. So.
I'm going to go ahead and have Deborah show us a short video, and this will give you a little bit more information on what's happening in our community as well.
We all like to think of childhood as this time of joy and innocence. But, I mean, for many of us, it's just not true.
When you grow up in these type of situations, it's not something you talk about. I know I did.
The first thing that we found is that adverse childhood experiences are common.
Kids are young, they don't know what's going on, they won't remember anyway. Well, the child may not remember, but the body remembers.
There was this incredible gee whiz effect. You mean adverse childhood experiences cause heart disease and lung disease and liver and cancer?
Exposure to trauma affects children's developing brains. The impact is on your behavior, it's on your heart, it's on your DNA. Like, how do you deal with all that?
Go reach out, courage to us.
We have a whole new body of knowledge now that could open up what we have up till now been seen as intractable, unsolvable problems.
No child should be punched or kicked.
If you can get the science into the hands of the general population, they will invent very wise actions.
Do you feel like any of the interventions have been making a difference?
They may all be different people.
It's there, it's possible. And a defeatist attitude is completely disconnected from what 21st century science is telling us. And we should be going after that like a bear.
Thank you so much, Deborah. Why we showed that video was because at High Hopes Counseling, one of the screenings that we do for all of the clients that come in the door is an ACE screening. So we look at the adverse childhood experiences that one has experienced throughout childhood and even into adulthood. And we know that having 4 or more ACEs subjects us to detrimental physical health effects. So High Hopes Counseling is here to be able to provide, we're here to provide interventions. We know that by providing a safe space for teens, children, adults to come and talk and to share their experiences, that helps reduce the physical effects that they're going to see in the future. From the heart disease that they were talking about. So toxic stress, it really does a lot to our system. And so that's why we created High Hopes. We have graduate students that are part of the program, and a couple of them are here today. I'm going to go ahead and bring them up for a quick introduction. We have a training program. We work with local universities to be able to provide the reduced fee therapy for members in our community to afford access. So High Hopes is all about increasing awareness, increasing accessibility to affordable healthcare services. And we do that all through donation and giving back to the organization. I have 2 students here, Brayden and Kiara. They are both running some groups. This month we run free groups at High Hopes as well as paid groups, so we're able to, so everyone can be involved and have accessibility. I want to bring one more person up here, Chris. She is part of our fundraising team, and everyone is working really hard. Jen, why don't you come up too? Why not? I know. She likes to put me in the front row, and then she sits in the back, so I'm just going to bring her up. She's dedicated a lot of time and energy to making this happen. So each year, we have doubled the amount of clients that we've been serving. I started High Hopes in 2020, And these people are here and making it happen along with me. So, Braden, I'll let you talk a minute about your.
Definitely. So some of the groups that I've been running, Saturdays and Mondays, right? Saturdays I have a process group for male clients. We call it Dudes and Donuts. They come in early in the morning and it's just a male support group, right? A lot of times there isn't a lot of the focus with mental health kind of is sometimes tailored towards women, right? Not a lot of men, not a lot of attention is given to men and some of the difficulties that they are going through, right? Kind of a little bit more of like the culture of just pick yourself up by the bootstraps and move on, brush it off, right? So it's a support group, come in, process anything you want to go through, right? You get support from all the guys there. And then Mondays, new one that I'm running is with May, and we're gonna see, hopefully we can continue it on, is Mindfulness Mondays, right? That one you just come in, I'm gonna lead whoever shows up through a bunch of different mindfulness exercises. We'll be doing meditations, we'll be doing grounding techniques, we'll be doing body scan techniques, just to check in with ourselves and really get a moment to just breathe during the day and to relax and not have to do anything in this busy world. So that's what I'm doing, and if time permitting, I might even be able to run you all through a very brief little mindfulness exercise. So we'll see.
Hi everyone, my name is Kiara. So for the month of May, in honor of Mental Health Awareness Month, I'm running a group called Minding Your Mental Health. It's going to be Wednesdays from 5 to 6 p.m. And it's pretty much all centered around just learning how to love ourselves and also just put some tools in our toolbox on self-care. Like Braden was mentioning, you come to Greatest Group as well. You're getting already a tool in your toolbox. But just what other things can you be doing to take time out of your day to actually focus on yourself, prioritize your mental health, and also just being able to connect with other people who actually show up to the group as well. So realizing that you're not alone, and I think that's something that we often tend to neglect, is taking care of ourselves and our minds. It's just as important as our physical health. So that's all the things that we're going to be talking about in the group, and just finding ways to support each other and connect with other people in our community who are also struggling a little bit to maybe find that time in our day to focus on our own well-being. So that's the group that I'll be running.
Hello, I'm Chris Thompson. I'm one of the associates. I'm also the committee chair for private funding with High Hopes. We are relocating and growing. So excited to announce that. That's a new announcement we just found out today. So this is wonderful news. We're growing and doubling our size from the current location. So we're launching today. It's called the, what are we calling it? The Hope Builders Campaign. Because I just found out today. So you guys are all going to be a part of that campaign. We are launching. You guys are such a part of what we're doing, even though we're new here. So we really are excited to share that news with you. We will be able to double our space size to see clients. We are, like you just saw on the resilience video, very east focused. There are many different ways in mental health providers in Fullerton, but we are one of the only that does what we do as far as how we have our groups and the demographic that we reach and how we are reaching those people. So it's very important that we are able to grow and stretch and how we are training the students that we are training and leading. So our goal is $20,000 in 20 days, which is feasible for us. But we will have, you can go to our website, which is, I think it's up there. Yes, it is. highhopescounseling.org. And we have our business cards here and we have flyers in the back for you to scan our QR code, and you can see more about our campaign as we're launching that out for you. But we really do appreciate your support in that, even if it's just sharing with other people, sharing it with relatives, family members, so that you can help us grow. It's centrally located at State College in Commonwealth. And we're very excited. So currently we're near like Chapman and Yale, so we're not moving far, but we're staying in the Fullerton community. So we welcome you to help kind of come be a part of our family in that, and very much excited. So here's, oh no, somebody, he's not going to
That's okay. Thank you so much, you guys. Thank you. If anyone has any questions or anything, you can always reach us afterwards. We'll be kind of lingering around. We don't want to use up any additional time, and you can also email us from the website as well. Thank you so much.
Has the police contacted you? Has the police department contacted you?
They have not, should they
Oh,
be?
yes, they should be. You hear on that television all the time, most of these shootings are because of mental health. This is your field.
You know what, absolutely it is.
And you should contact them.
You know what, I like your thinking. I like how you're thinking how to collaborate
Well,
and
that's
build.
why you're here.
Yeah, why, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else?
Very, very informative and wonderful resource that we have in our city. So we actually are moving into our committee reports. And our first committee report will be from Next Gen, David DeLeo.
Gonna stand up there?
Yes, for the live stream. Hello, everyone. Probably don't want to be in the sun though.
Hi, I'm speaking on behalf of the Next Gen, of which Amy, Choi, and Beverly, where's she at? Oh, she's back there. And Brett are part of the committee. We're kind of co-hosting it. Today, we actually had a really good meeting with the city manager, talked about establishing a youth committee as well as a youth summit. And so we're going to be at our next meeting, which you'll all hear an announcement on it. We're going to be talking specifically on what that kind of looks like, because we're still kind of thinking about how this would work. And so for those of you that aren't aware, we made an announcement last year about having a platform that young people will be able to speak and will be able to communicate things they'd like to see in the city. And so that's one of the things that we're focused in on. Recently, as part of Love Fullerton, we led a group of 185 ASB students and cleaned up a quarter mile of Richmond Trail. It was pretty impressive. I tell you, I was impressed by how hard they worked. Took us about 2.5 hours because it was a little warm, and they ran out of gas. I ran out of gas, but if you go over there, you'll see it's actually amazing what they did. On Friday, worked with another group out of Whittier Christian High School. It was a sophomore class, and we cleaned up a trail along just south, I guess, of Parks Intermediate School, and it's completely cleaned and with all the debris down. And those are the kinds of activities that we want to get more engaged with. And so I wanted to make that announcement. And then the last thing I wanted to say is on Saturday, I worked with the Sunrise Rotary Group to clean up Truslow Park. How many of you are familiar with Truslow Park? And you know that's been hit a lot. Well, the Sunrise Rotary is actually going to take that on as their project moving forward. And if you go over there, you're going to see everything's been trimmed up and it looks beautiful. Coming in June, they're going to be doing another cleanup. I think they're going to concentrate on cleaning the sidewalk and cleaning the playground. The reason why I wanted to share that with you is because we really want to reach out to the surrounding community. So if you have a program or an organization that has youth, we'd like to be able to reach out to you to let them know that on this particular day, I don't have the date with me in my head, we're going to be doing cleanup because we want the community to be part of that process. As we begin to move forward, they're talking about repainting the mural, doing some other elements around there. That can only be, we have to have the community involved in order to ensure that the vandalism isn't going to take place. And so you'll be hearing more about that. I'll make sure that Sunrise Rotary makes contact with Debbie and gets the announcement out there. But I know that many of you have organizations or have families that live in that neighborhood. We really want to get them involved with the cleanup of that Truslow Park, because that's the only way that it's going to be able to be sustained. So thank you.
Thank you. So update, just early childhood, Daniel can't join us with us today, but our next meeting, come and join us on the 22nd of May. You can either email myself or Helene, or we can get you connected with that Zoom link. And now we have homelessness. We had we will be able to get an update about that, and then Peter will do health and wellness as well.
I just found out that as of this morning, there's still people experiencing homelessness. Is that true? Yeah, so it's a huge problem, and so we're meeting on the third Wednesday of the month. May 17th next week is our next one at 1 o'clock up at the Hope Center. If you're interested in going, email me or get in contact with the collaborative, and we can fill you in and get you on email list. I will be sending out an email tomorrow morning about that meeting, but that's it. Thanks.
Jason, can I jump in for a second?
Chair, this is my time, bro. What's up?
I brought copies of the Observer. They're open to Hope Center, and there's an article in here about it. So anybody who would like a copy, you're welcome to pick it up, and also cover the Love Fullerton event, and that's also in the paper here.
Am I mentioned in any of those?
Pardon?
Am I mentioned in any of those?
Yeah, it said, don't talk to Jason.
I recommend you don't get that paper.
Hello, everyone. Peter Hernandez here reporting on behalf of the Health and Wellness Subcommittee. So just as a reminder for those of you who don't know, we have changed the meeting dates to the 4th Wednesday of the month at 12:30. We're still doing them virtually, so if you're interested, please reach out to myself or Debbie. But as far as the work that we're doing, we're continuing to update our 3-year strategic plan. So if there's any, we're focusing on all areas of health and wellness. So if you feel like you would like to provide input on the different topics, please join us May 24th. And also at the beginning of May, we did also launch our Step Up Your Summer Quarterly Health and Wellness Challenge. And so with this challenge, we're really focusing on promoting a soda-free summer and a summer steps challenge, just because in the past, those have been our most successful challenges. And so if any of you know any site that would be interested in any kind of health education, please reach out and we'll coordinate our services.
Is it going to be a competition?
It is a competition. So we are doing the $100 gift card as with all the other quarterly health and wellness challenges. It's open to all age groups, youth, older adults, teens, everyone.
Thanks, Peter. Great work. Fantastic. So we have the time now to open it up for members, and also we have some new people here that this is their first time here, so welcome. If you're not a member, if you don't see your name on the agenda there, we want you as a member, so come and join us as a member. We have some fantastic groups. We have over 55 people now, 56 now members, so we keep on growing, and we just love all of our members. So